This is your time. Good evening, Atlanta. Tell you what, this is, I'm so excited, and I'm gonna give you a real treat by introducing you to this special woman in a moment. I had a little bit of rock star moment. We were backstage, Kristy and I were backstage, and I said, is that Ronnie DeVoe from New Edition? Mm-hmm. So somewhere around here, you got Bill Duke, you got all kind of heroes and sheroes walking through, but Mr. Ronnie DeVoe of New Edition is here to show his love. We appreciate him. Yeah. So, this is a serious conversation. Rainbows only follow storms. You cannot have a rainbow without a storm first. At least 300,000 black women lost their job this year alone. I had to recheck the stat because that number to me was unbelievable. It wasn't 30,000, wasn't 3,000, it was 300,000 plus. And they will rise, and they will reinvent, and they will reimagine. Yes. Yes. And they will overcome. We've been doing so much with so little for so long, we can almost do anything with nothing. So when you see Kristy walk out on this stage from Compton,
straight out.
And we tell you that in May, she got a promotion at a $2 trillion bank to the operating committee. She is the highest ranking black female at Wells Fargo. There's so many seniors in front of her, executive vice president, you run out of room on the page. In charge of now inclusion.
Financial inclusion.
Financial inclusion and
opportunity.
And opportunity, which has got, that's me written all over it.
Yep.
She is one of less than 20 members of the operating committee. Is it 20?
15.
15 of a $2 trillion bank, which makes it one of the top 10 banks easily in the world. Probably top 6, 5 if you take the Chinese state-owned banks out of the mix. $2 trillion is huge. Before that, she was the only black female ever to become CEO of a major mortgage company. She ran Wells Fargo Mortgage Company. So I see you in this moment in time as a signal bearer. I see you as a signal strength. You don't have to raise your voice, you don't have to scream and holler. In fact, in order to be your job, you have to just do the opposite, be elegant and smooth. We need to understand, as we talk about future-proofing, we need to understand the how, not just the what. I'm gonna ask you guys in the back, I'm not trying to police anybody, but this is a very important conversation. You're not gonna get anyplace else. You're not gonna meet another person like this, so just tell whoever's next to you, just for a minute, just listen to what she has to say. I think this is a really important conversation about how to navigate. How did you do this? Let's rewind the tape a little bit, and I want to give Charlie Scharf, my friend, the CEO, some credit, because he didn't have to do this for giving you this promotion that you've earned, but he acknowledged and saw your talent. So let's rewind a bit about how you got here and whose you are, not just who you are, because you didn't do this by yourself.
No. Well, first of all, hello, everybody. It is great to be with you and always with you, my friend.
By the way, I like that.
Well, this is whose I am. So we could start right there, right? And, you know, in corporate America, I have had people ask me not to wear this. And
it's a cross if you can't see it.
Yeah, and I have said this is whose I am. It is, with him nothing is possible, and I think I am here because of the grace of God and the favor of God. So I'm very clear about that. But, you know, you talked about Compton. You know, I was born in Compton, California. My father was the track coach at Compton High. And got the opportunity to go to the University of Arizona.
By the way, we're both from Compton.
We are both from Compton, yeah. Exactly. He tried to compare zip codes with me when we first met.
Yeah,
like, are you really from Compton?
No. So now that you want to go there, now that you want to go there, she was from the bougie part of Compton.
No. Wait, is there a bougie part in Compton?
I was going to leave you alone.
Seriously?
No. Anybody who knows Compton, there's Compton, there's the hood, D-A-H-O-O-D. And then there's a part near the Carson that has the stucco houses. Anybody knows the stucco houses, the nice tan houses where all the pretty girls work?
Why'd I go there? Why'd I even do that?
You opened the door.
I did. Anyway, so my father got the track coaching job at the University of Arizona. So my life went from 99.9% black Compton to 99.9% white Tucson. And growing up, traversing both of those worlds, it was really clear really quick. We weren't black enough for the black kids or white enough for the white kids. And I was grateful that I had parents that were like, just be 100% who you are. So that means, that's right. So that means no matter what room I step into, I had the privilege from my parents to be 100% authentically who I was. And growing up with that freedom, it was extraordinary because in our house, impossible was an opinion, not a fact. We were told whatever the mind can perceive, the will could achieve. So when adversity would come up throughout my life, and it has all throughout my life, it was never an excuse to not be better than. It was never an excuse not to achieve or to overcome, because as you said, overcoming is just what we do.
That's right.
My mom was really clear all growing up. You have to work twice as hard to get half as much. You are a black child in America, and that is just your reality. And so we understood what the rules of the game were, and we set out to be what we could be in it. And that was always just striving to be our best self. And so that mentality took me through college at USC. It took me into the workplace. And it took me into a lot of things that, although my father was the first black head coach at a major university, I was still the first in a lot of things, still some 30, 40 years later. And it became one of those things where you never used it as an excuse. You just always focused on how to see those obstacles as opportunities for you to step into the space and be something, make something of it, do something with it that other people maybe thought was impossible or thought they couldn't do. That became the hallmark of my career. And so I always just stepped into the space and filled the void of where those were opportunities.
Absolutely. Somebody in your life told you they loved you. It's obvious. Who was that? Is it mom?
You want to know what's crazy? And people actually don't believe it. I grew up feeling very, very loved. We did not use those words in my household.
Really?
When I first started dating my husband, he said, I loved you for 3 months. And I would say, thank you. That's nice, thank you. And he's like, what is wrong with you? I don't want to marry you. I just want to know I'm not in this by myself. And I'd explain to him, I didn't grow up hearing those words, but I felt very, very loved. So today, that person is my husband. He tells me every day, multiple times a day, that I am loved.
So was it very structured?
It was very structured, yeah. I grew up in a very, it wasn't military, but it was just very disciplined and very structured around like setting expectations about how you should behave, what you could achieve, and always, always, always striving to your best. When your father's a track coach, it's always about besting yourself. You're not in competition with anybody. It's always about what's the best that you can do, and so always strive. So that's, I think, what's helped me in corporate America as well. I've never been jealous about what other people had, or I can celebrate what other people have, because that's for them. What God has for me is for me. And so for me, it's always about how do I be the best I can be, and I can be happy for you and yours. And people recognize that. People see that. You can celebrate others.
So I'm going to give you an example of this. So we were backstage, and Kristy and I were supposed to be talking about like a little brief on what she and I are going to chat about. And she used her time actually to introduce me to somebody else. And that someone else is here. Jenny Brousseau. I'm saying this probably. Jenny, where are you?
Yes.
Stand up. Stand up. Jenny is, and this is just announced on Friday, the bank, Charlie and the group there, and Saul, they just announced Jenny as to be in charge of Financial Crimes Division for Consumer and Business Lending. She is the highest ranking Latino female at the bank.
Woo!
So we have the highest ranking black female and the highest ranking Latino female. We didn't plan this. This is just God showing up and showing out. But this is an example of you using your light to shine on others. When I talk to Bishop T.D. Jakes and we want to figure out, how best to do something, we both call you at the bank. Not because you're black, because you're good, and you happen to be black.
Thank you. Thank you.
So now let's pivot a little bit. I want to talk about what you're doing and how we're going to unlock doors for others. But I want to talk a bit about some of the challenges. Life's not been easy in these roles. We need to future-proof, which means this audience needs to understand not just the what, but the how. So when you deal with difficult situations, difficult people, folks who have backwards ideas, which we find everywhere. You got to go back to now to your childhood, not being emotional. Don't win the battle and lose the war. Step over mess, not in it. What are some of those values that you'd like to share with this audience as a bit of teachable moments that they can take with them?
Yeah. Well, for me, it always comes to, I get on my knees first and start praying. And always try to seek guidance about where am I supposed to move. And I think that's what I've learned over my career is I pray first and move second. Because if I move before I hear, the whisper from God or before I have that clear direction, I always end up messing up.
Yeah.
And so that's been one.
Yeah.
It's just stay still enough. I think when mess happens, we want to fix it. We want to move out of it. It's uncomfortable. And I've learned to stay in that discomfort and pray about it until I hear move. And so this move into, the role of financial inclusion, it really was about how do I have a greater impact for the bank? Where were there gaps in the bank and where were there opportunities for me to try to step in and make a difference? And it was building that business case about how best to do that in a way that the bank saw that there would be value in stepping into that space and doing something that would have a meaningful impact, not just on a few people, but millions of people. And that's what I identified. We had 3 different initiatives at the bank, and we were helping thousands of people, not millions of people. None of the products that we had were actually connecting people to their financial futures. And we were trying to step into a space of not eroding trust, and we've had some trust issues at Wells Fargo in the community, and so we were trying to navigate that through it. But what I said to people is, I said, have you ever grown your financial wealth without investing in a product? And the answer for most of us is no. So it's why wouldn't we offer that to our customers? You obviously have to do it in the right space of trust, but that's what it's about, is understanding what your customers need, understanding what the opportunities are for you to lean into providing opportunities for them that are going to make meaningful differences in their life. And so that's what we've really tried to lean into.
So let me see if I can translate a little bit, because she said something that I'm not sure you caught it. She's already there. She's already at a senior level. Last year, I'm thinking about, you had to reinvent yourself.
I had to reinvent myself.
Did you hear me? I don't know if you got that. She's at the bank. She's in the role. She's in the C-suite. Everybody going to lunch, going to dinner, going to meetings, but being smart is not enough.
That's right.
You had to read the tea leaves, understand the moment it changed, understand the bank was in a different place. You were coming out of this place where you were restricted to being hopefully unrestricted, which happened.
That's right.
The bank reputational issues, which might have given you cover, to be blunt, as a black woman before. That was no longer the case. Now the reputational issues were behind. Now you had to deliver, and you didn't have to be lectured about that. No one had to tell you that. Because I remember you called me, you took it upon yourself.
That's right.
To create a value proposition for yourself to the bank. Is that right?
That's right. But not only for myself, it was a value proposition for what I hope is going to be millions of people.
That's right.
But it's seeing where, and I think that's the learning that I've had is when we're in these spaces, it's like, how do you create those opportunities where you see opportunity? How do you step into that space and create those opportunities to bring others along and to change the lives of millions? And so when I'm in those rooms in the operating committee and I'm listening to what some of the challenges are of the bank, I'm thinking about each of you. I'm thinking about how do we use the resources of Wells Fargo to make it better for the millions of people that are out there, to change people's lives. Because what's the point in being in the seat if we're not going to change the lives of the people in our communities? And so that's where I really try to focus.
So I wanted you to know her soul. Can you feel it? She's really a good person. And what we were talking about earlier, the bank went through some challenges, made some mistakes.
No doubt.
Had to own it.
Yep.
As you said, you can't be a $2 trillion bank and not screw something up.
That's right.
And I like the way Charlie and the team owned it. I was part of some of those conversations. I like the way in which you have not tried to shy away from that. You actually brought it up to me earlier. And now the future is about economic opportunity. Even I'm with the Hope Inside, we're saying we're producing customers for you. We don't want to hand out, we want to hand up.
That's right.
And so what does that mean for you in this new role? How can this group think about how they benefit from you now being in the operating committee, in those board meetings, and in this seat? Over the next 12 to 15 months, how do they position themselves to benefit from what you're doing?
Yeah. I love the fact that this conference is about future-proofing, because I think right now we all have this tremendous opportunity to step into something new, to step into something fresh and really reinvent ourselves. And I think that's what, if I've learned anything in the last couple of months being in this financial inclusion and opportunity space, it is that far too many of us are not realizing the financial futures that we could have.
That's right.
And I want people to believe that whatever financial future you have for yourself, whatever goals, whatever dreams, whatever aspirations you have for yourself and your family, they are possible. They're possible with hard work, with commitment, and really leaning into doing the hard work. Because that's what it takes. And a Wells Fargo or any company that's out there can really set you up for that. But at the end of the day, nothing is to substitute from you building the right money habits, thinking thoughtfully about what you want your goals and your future will be. But it has to start with an ask for help. Yeah. It has to start with leaning in to the possibility of what it could be, setting up a plan and doing the work. And that's what we want to help people with. We do that with you every day with the Hope Inside Centers, right? You can walk into a Wells Fargo branch and meet with the coach and do it with the Help Inside Centers. But people have to first get past the guilt and the shame of how we might have managed and the mistakes we've made in the past and really step into that to take advantage of the help and the support and the resources that are available. That's what I want people to know.
So you want to unlock prime capital for home ownership, prime capital and credit for small business.
For small business, yeah.
What, am I missing something?
Well, access to capital, access to product, and access to resources.
Those three things.
Those three things.
And That is done because it advances the economic prosperity. You're able to do this because it advances the economic prosperity for the bank. In other words, this is not about black or white or red or blue, it's about green.
Green, always.
And if you deliver that, you'll get more, we all get more of that.
That's right.
Can we help her deliver that? Then that means you get a bigger portfolio and a bigger job and keep growing your, because this is about emerging markets.
That's right.
We're out of time, but I want to ask you this question. Have you enjoyed this? Question. Your 18-year-old self is sitting in the audience. Your 25-year-old self is sitting in the audience. Your 28, 20, 30-year-old self who is a little insecure. She got a job, lost a job, not paid respect. Somebody disrespected her. She thought about being emotional. She wanted to pop off and tell somebody else she really thought.
I still do that.
What advice do you have to those 3 or 4 young ladies that are really you, but different software upgrades of you? What advice does a mature version of you now, what advice do you have to her that they can take with them?
The advice I'd get is you're already whole, already enough. Like everything you have, everything you need, you already possess. It's about putting your head down. It's about working hard. It's about taking advantage of opportunities without fear, without regret, and always, always, always staying true to yourself.
Love all of you.
Love all of you.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Already enough.
Kristy Fercho.
Thank you.